So as I was thinking back to the day of my ordination 22 years ago today, I was thinking of what was the most memorable moment of the ordination. And for me, it was actually the moment after they had anointed our hands in the ordination ceremony. And then after your hands are anointed with oil, right, you go back to the sacristy and they wash your hands, right, to take the oil off. And they washed our hands. All the superiors were there, right, helping with that. And so they washed our hands. And then after they were washed, each one of the superiors kissed our hand. And that was just a really moving moment for me, because here there were these superiors that I had been in Rome for many years, right, at that time. Father Donald Clancy, Father Alvaro Corcuera, Father Carlos Garcia, they were all our rectors of the houses. And there they were, kissing our hands. And it was just such a humbling moment. All of us, of course, were crying, right, as we came out of the sacristy, and everybody's wondering, why are you crying, right? But it was just such a moving moment to see, that the reverence that they had. And thinking about it, it wasn't a reverence for us, but it was a reverence for what God was doing in us and how he was going to take our hands, and with our hands, he would make the Eucharist, because we were going to celebrate at that moment our first Mass, now that our hands had been anointed. Right? And so we were going to hold Jesus in our hand. And so that reverence for our hands, kissing our hands, was all about the reverence for Jesus, who is working through us. And as we read the readings from this morning, it also teaches us a lesson about humility as we approach this great feast of Christmas. And that lesson of humility is the lesson that the prophet Nathan is trying to teach David. When I first, when I always heard this passage from Scripture, I was always thinking, well, why is, David's offering to build God a house, and he's kind of like, I don't want a house from you. It almost seems that way, right? But that's not the point that God is making through the prophet Nathan. Because really what's happening is David is sitting there, as it says, in his nice big cedar house, right, on his big throne. And he's just conquered, and he's now the powerful king of Israel, and all his enemies have been subdued, and he's wealthy, and he's great, right? And he's sitting there, and he's thinking, I'm so great. I'm wonderful. Why don't I build a house for God too, You can kind of get that sense of his arrogance and pride. And so Nathan at first goes, yeah, that's a great idea, build a house. And then he has, the dream. And God tells Nathan, no, go back to him and tell him, who do you think you are? You'd be nothing if it weren't for me. You were just a little shepherd boy out in the fields caring for sheep. And I chose you, and I made you king. And I helped you conquer all your enemies. And I built this kingdom for you. You're nothing. I made you what you are. And I think that's also the lesson of the priesthood. Right? We're really nothing. But God chooses us, and he gives us this great gift. And through us, we do great things. Right? When we bring the Eucharist down onto the altar, bringing God down onto the altar every day, that's an amazing gift. Or to be able to absolve somebody of their sins. That's just an amazing gift. And it's not because of us or because of what we have merited, but it's because God chose us and wants us to have that gift. So today, as we celebrate this day and prepare for Christmas, let's be humbled before God, recognize the great things that he does in us, and I'm very thankful to God for this gift of the priesthood and being able to have these gifts from him, these graces from him. And hopefully all of you will also be able to share one day in this great gift from God because he has chosen you.